Hello class, I am Teacher Ems and welcome to our FABM class. Hello dear students, welcome to our class. I hope you are as ready as I am to start learning and have fun. We're in this together, so let's respect and support each other. But before we start our lesson, there are rules and reminders for our online class. First, these are the following online etiquette. And other classroom reminders. So let us a review of our previous lesson. Do you know the formula in basic accounting equation? Yes, chat. Very good. So the formula for our accounting equation is assets is equal to liabilities plus owner's equity. Or we can say that A is equal to L plus O. Remember, in your Math 7, algebraic expression or expression consists of variables. Let's say if the value of our A is equal to 17, L is equal to 7, and O is equal to 10. We substitute the value in our formula. 17 equals to 7 plus 10. And 17 is equal to 17. So make sure in our basic accounting equation, in our last discussion, that our value accounts in accounting equation is balance. Now, so let's have our activity. You are going to arrange the following jumbled letters into correct word or words being described in the picture. First, this one. What is the answer? Yes, Christian. Assets? Okay. Correct. Very good. How about this? Yes, generic. Expense? You're right. How about this figure? Yes, indeed. Liability? Let us check. Liability, correct. How about this one? Yes, Maxine. Equity, correct. And last one? Yes, Patricia. Income. Let us check. Okay, correct. Now, these words are related in our lesson for today. So now let us discuss about the 5 major accounts. For our objectives, identify the account as assets, liabilities, capital, income, or expenses. Number 2, cite an example of each type of account. And last, classify the current and non-current of assets and liabilities. Now, there are 5 major accounts. First is the assets. When we say assets, these are the resources owned and controlled by the firm. Please give me an example of an asset. Yes, Jenny. Okay, correct. So cash. Cash is one of the examples of assets. Why? Yes, Janice. Okay, correct. So cash is considered as an asset because cash is readily available for use in the operation of the business. And without cash, the business will not function. Very good, Janice. How about number 2, liabilities? When we say liabilities, these are the obligations of the firm arising from past events which are to be settled in the future. Can you give me an example of liabilities? Yes, Jersey. Correct, loans or bank loans. Okay. So there are other examples, accounts payable, interest payable. And later, we will find out the classification of the liabilities and also the assets later. Now, for the honest equity, when we say honest equity, these are the obligations of the firm arising from past events which are to be settled in the future. For examples, these are the examples, common stocks, retained earnings, and dividends. Next. For number 4, income or revenue. So when we say income, sa Tagalog ay kita. These are the increase in economic benefits during the accounting period in the form of inflows of cash or other assets or decreases of liabilities that result in increase in equity. Income includes revenue and gains. What are the examples? Okay, examples, sales, service revenues, fees earned, and interest revenue. And the last one is expense. Expense, sa Tagalog, ito yung tinatawag nating gastos. Okay, when we say expense, these are decreases in economic benefits during the accounting period in the form of outflows of assets or in these incidences of liabilities that result in decreases in equity. Can you give me an example of an expense? Yes, John. So yes, rent expense. Correct. What else? Okay, very good. Okay, these are the examples: operating expense, finance expenses, non-operating expenses, accrued expenses. There are many, many examples of expense. But remember, in your ESP 9, one of the competencies was all about pagtitipid. So sa aralin na ito, natukoy ang taong masipag at nagpupunyagi sa paggawa, nagtitipid at pinamamahalaan ang naimpok. So the manager of the company needs to list all of expenses of the company and find out what needs to be minimized. The company needs to learn how to save money for the sake of the company. So yan, importante yan, no? Na kailangan ang isang kumpanya ay kailangan na monitor yung kanyang expenses para kung alin man yung sa tingin ng company na nahihirapan sila or yung mga nagagastos nila, pwede nila i-minimize na hindi naman kinakailangan na gastusan. So yan ang ano niya. So natututunan yung pag-iimpok din. So sa income. Okay? So remember our mnemonic A, to remember our 5 major accounts, we have the ALEREX. Okay? ALEREX stands for A, asset, L, liability, E, equity, R, revenue, and expense for E. So do not confuse class. In other books, revenue siya. Tapos yung iba, income ang tawag. So income or revenue, okay lang din siya. Okay? So now, let us discuss the classification of assets. We have 2 classifications of assets. We have current assets and non-current assets. When we say current assets, these are the short-term economic resources that are expected to be converted into cash within 1 year. And non-current assets are long-term assets that a company expects to hold longer than 12 months. They provide value to a company but cannot be readily converted to cash within a year. Okay, now what is the difference between the two? Okay, current assets, take note, when we say current asset, short term, okay, it is within 1 year. But in non-current assets, these are the long term. Again, I repeat, current assets, short term. Non-current assets, long term. Okay? Now, what are the examples of current assets? Number 1 is cash. When we say cash, it includes coins, currencies, checks, bank deposit, and other cash items readily available for use in the operation of the business. Next is marketable securities. These are stocks and bonds purchased by the enterprises and are to be held for only a short span of time, for a short duration. They are usually purchased when a business has excess cash. Inventories, there are many types of inventories. We have merchandise inventories, etc. This represents assets held for a sale in the ordinary course of business in the process of production for sale, or in the form of materials or supplies to be consumed in the production process or in the rendering of services. And these supplies, ito yung mga hindi nagagamit na mga supplies sa company. It refers to supplies remain unused at the end of the accounting period. So ito yung mga natitira no, sa company, usually sa mga bodega, yan. Yung mga supply nandun lang. So consider siya as current assets. Okay. We have trade and other receivables. Okay, these include the amount of collectible from any of the following accounts. So letter A is accounts receivable. When we say accounts receivable, is the amount collectible from the customer to whom sales have been made or services have been rendered on account or credit. Next, notes receivable. This is a promissory note issued by the client or the customer in exchange for services or goods received as evidence of his or her obligation to pay. So ito yung isang company na hindi nakapagbayad ng nung pera, so mag-i-issue ng promissory note na meron siyang itatakda na date na kailangan mabayaran niya to sa ganitong date. Yun. So yun yung tinatawag ng notes receivable. Interest receivable, these are the amount of interest collectible on promissory notes received from customer and clients. And next, advances to employees. These are the certain amount of money loaned to employees payable in cash or through salary deductions. Next, prepaid expenses. These represent an item or service that has been paid for but has not been used for consumption. Okay, I want to emphasize this. So, hindi porke may nakita ko yung expenses, dyan ay consider na siya as expense. No. Okay, so alamin natin yung mga under ng prepaid expenses. We have the prepaid insurance. This refers to an advance payment made by the business to cover the future insurance payment. Yan. Next, prepaid rent. This refers to an advance payment made by the business to cover the future rental payment. So yan. Okay, we have the non-current assets. So we are done with current assets. So let's find out the non-current assets. Okay, these are long-term investments. So these are the investments made by the company for long-term purposes and that the company intends to hold for more than a year. Next, intangible assets. Okay, these are identifiable non-monetary assets without physical substance. So ibig sabihin, hindi nahahawakan physically. Yan. Held for use in the production or supply of goods or services for rental to others or for administrative purposes. Franchise, the right to sell a company's goods or services in a particular. So magpa-franchise, usually yan, uuso yan ngayon, no? So magpa-franchise ng siomai, may iba-iba yan, and other business. Next, the patent, a government authority or license conferring a right or title to for a set period, especially the sole right to exclude others from making, using, or selling an invention. Next, copyright. This is a special privilege given by the government to an author, composer, publisher, and artist to control the manufacture, sale, or use of the literary, musical, and artist work for the lifetime of the author plus 50 years. So merong ano siya, yung copyright, no? So alam naman natin yung ano dyan, batas yan. Halimbawa, kinopya mo yung kanta nung isang composer, hindi mo pwedeng gayahin. Hindi mo pwedeng magkakaroon ka ng copyright issue doon. Okay, next, brand name, the name which distinguish the company from the other, from one product to the other. Next is goodwill. Goodwill refers to assets arising from attributes such as high credit standing, good reputation, customer satisfaction, skilled employees, and business location. These are the examples of non-current assets. We have property, plant, and equipment. These are the tangible assets held by enterprise for use in the production or supply of goods and services, or for administrative purpose, and which are expected to be used for more than one period. Okay, when we say tangible assets, ito naman yung nahahawakan natin physically. Okay. Example, land. Land is the very land or ground where the building is situated or constructed. It is not subject for depreciation. Ito talaga, yung land ay long-term talaga to. So, usually, yan, namamanat talaga yan. Lalo na pag sa company, may nakuha silang malaking lupa. So, talagang ano yan, binabayaran ng malaki. Talagang pangmatagalan. So habang mapapansin nyo, no, habang tumatagal, lumilipas yung taon, lumalaki yung halaga ng lupa. Okay. Next, buildings. These are edifices or structure used to accommodate the office, store, factory of a business enterprise in the conduct of its operation. Next, furniture and fixtures include the cost of office desk, chairs, tables, bench, bookcase, on stand, cabinets, wall decors, storage rack, and so. There are many. Next. We have office equipment. These are the cost of steel cabinet, calculators, typewriters, copier, scanner used in the office, printers, computers, projectors, laptops. Next, store equipment. These are the cost of weight, scale, lifters, calculators, and adding machine used in the store. Accumulated depreciation. These are the contra asset account that represent the expired cost of property, plant, and equipment as a result of usage and passage of time. This is deducted from the cost of the related asset account to get book value. Okay. So, do you have any questions about the non-current assets and current assets? Okay, please react heart emoticon if you understand our lesson about current and non-current assets. Okay, thank you very much. I'm so glad that you understand our lesson. Okay, we have the classification of liabilities. We have the current liabilities and non-current liabilities. When we say current liabilities, these are the obligations that are due within 1 year of the balance sheet date and will require a cash payment or will need to be renewed. And the non-current liabilities, these are long-term liabilities or obligations which are payable for a period longer than 1 year. So it is similar to assets. So current liabilities is the validity is within 1 year, the obligations. But in a non-current liabilities, these are the long-term liabilities or obligations. So these are the differences between the two. Let us continue. So the examples of current liabilities, we have trade and other payables. So we have letter A, accounts payable. It refers to open accounts which represents the amount of money owed by the business to creditors or suppliers. So ito yung mga utang ng company doon sa mga creditors o doon sa suppliers niya. Yan. So ang tawag natin doon ay accounts payable. Next, notes payable. This represents the amount of money owed by the business to creditors or suppliers evidenced by the promissory notes. Yan. So nag-i-issue ng notes payable kapag merong utang yung isang company, no? Yan. So yung evidence doon ay yung tinatawag na promissory note. Next, loan payable. These are the obligations or debts owed to banks for money borrowed and for use for the business. So ito yung mga loans na inuutang sa bangko. Yan. Next, unearned revenue. So this represents cash collected by the business in advance for a service or good that is yet to be rendered or delivered. So we have the examples of the owner's equity. We have name of the owner, capital, it is the value of cash and the other assets invested in the business by the owner of the business. So example, Yambao Capital. So we have the name of owner, gamma drawing. This is an account debited for assets withdrawn by the owner for personal use from the business. So we have, for example, Unanan drawing. So name siya as dun sa apelyido. Okay? Tapos, income summary, these are the temporary account used at the end of the accounting period to close income and expense accounts. The balance of this account shows the net income or net loss for the period before it is closed to the capital account. So, the examples of an income, we have service revenue, includes revenues earned or generated by the business in performing services for a customer client. Sales, this represents the earnings made by any business that is into selling goods or merchandise. We have professional fees. These are earnings derived in the practice of profession for the professional services rendered. Okay, for the expenses, so we have salaries or wages expense. So these are the amount incurred or paid for the services rendered by the employees and workers in the business. So ito yung mga yung mga pinapasahod ng company, yung kanyang mga employee. So yan ay considered as salaries expense or wages expense. Advertising expense, these are the payments made in the promotion of business, merchandise, goods, and or services. So ito naman yung ginagamit yung sa mga TV commercials, yung nakikita niyo yung mga products nila na ina-advertise. So yan yung doon inaawas po yung yung advertising expense na tinatawag. Next, supplies expense. This office related materials used by the business, yung mga ginamit na supplies ng company, yan. So yan yung supplies expenses. Rent expense, amount incurred paid for the use of space for the office, store, and or factory area. So, kung nirerentahan lang yung lupa na pinagtatayuan ng company, yan. So, included dyan yung rent expense. Insurance expense, this is the expired portion of the premiums paid on insurance coverage. Yan. So, kung meron ma-insurance yung company, yan. So, inaawas din dyan yung insurance expense na tinatawag. Utilities expense, these are the amount incurred for the use of electricity, water, and telephone facilities. That is self-explanatory. Next, taxes and license expenses. These are the taxes, licenses, and other fees paid on, right? Cost of sales. This refers to the cost of merchandise or goods that were sold during particular accounting period. We have depreciation expense. It is the annual portion of the cost of a tangible asset, such as buildings, machineries, equipment charged as expense for the year. Next, interest expense. It is the amount of money charged to the borrower for the use of borrowed funds. And the doubtful accounts expense or the bad debts expense. This is the amount receivable charged as expenses for the period because they are estimated to doubtful of collection. Is everything clear? Please hit the like button if you understand our lesson for today. Now, so let us do the activity number 2. We have the wheel of accounts. You may choose your partner. Okay, if you are done choosing your partner, so I will going to spin a wheel. The accounts are given in the wheel. If the wheel stops in the arrow, you are going to classify if the account is current assets, non-current assets, current liabilities, non-current liabilities, equity, revenue, or expense. Are you ready? Okay. Okay, notes payable. Okay, who will the first answer this question? Okay, we have Cha and Irene. What is your answer? Notes payable. Okay, current liabilities. Okay, correct. So the answer is current liabilities. Okay, let us call another partner who will answer our next question. We have Arcel and Canvis. Office equipment. What is your answer? Current liabilities. Nice try. Okay. Any other answer? What is office equipment? Okay, let us call another partner. Okay, Jonel and Jenrick, what is the answer? Okay, non-current liabilities, correct. Okay, so non-current liabilities siya. Next. Okay, let us call another for our next question. Okay, we have Jersey and Monique. Okay, your question. interest income. What is your answer? Okay, revenue or income. Okay, correct. Correct. So the answer for that is revenue or income. Okay. So you already know how to classify our 5 major accounts. So now let us proceed to our application. Our activity number 3, real life accounts. Okay, you are going to answer the following. Number 1, what do you see in your home as assets? Can you enumerate them? Okay. Yes, Marvin. Okay, correct. Tables, chairs, TV, air conditioner, electric fan, supplies, car, and many, many more. Okay. Okay, kindly give a virtual clap for Marvin. Okay, how about number 2? Do you think that assets in your home can help you in our daily life? Yes, Christine. Excellent. Okay, it is helpful, no? Yes, it is because life must be easier when we have assets in our home. Next, number 3 question: what would you purchase if you will be putting up a car wash business? Let us call Genwick. Okay, yes, correct. Okay, maybe you'll purchase a cleaning equipment, cleaning supplies, tables, and chair uh, for your customer. So a laptop to record your transaction and building and many, many more. Okay. And last question, what are the importance of the 5 major accounts in the company? Yes, Cindy. Okay, yes, correct. It helps in creating budget and future projection. It helps also in filing financial statements. It helps in running of your business. And it also helps in evaluating the performance of business. So it is already discussed in your accounting. I think in our week 1, the functions and importance of accounting. Okay. So now for our generalization. Okay, so what is our mnemonic 8? To recall our 5 major accounts, what is it? Yes, Ronaldin. Alerex, correct. Okay, Alerex. Okay, what is Alerex stands for? Yes, Fiona. Okay, A is for assets, correct. L, liabilities, correct. E, equity, correct, or owner's equity. R, revenue. And E, expense. Okay, very good, Fiona. Okay, so remember this mnemonic aid, no? Our Alerex. To remember our 5 major accounts. Okay. Do you have any questions in our lesson? Okay, na. Okay. So now for your quiz, so you are going to classify the following accounts into current assets, current liabilities, non-current liabilities, income, owner's equity, and expenses. So you have 5 seconds to answer the question. Okay, are you ready? Okay, for your question number 1, so you have 5 seconds to answer the questions. You may prepare a pen and papers. Okay, number 1 question, merchandise inventory. You have 5 seconds. Go. Okay, the answer for that is current assets. Next, number 2, due from officers and employees. 5 seconds, go. Okay, time's up. The correct answer for that is current assets. Next, office equipment. Okay, time's up. Correct answer for that, non-current assets. Next, office supplies expense. Okay, correct answer is expense, correct? Question number 5, accrued interest income. Thumbs up. The correct answer for that is current assets. Next question, accumulated depreciation. 5 seconds, go. The correct answer is non-current assets. Next, accounts receivable. Okay, thumbs up. Correct answer for that, current assets. Interest income. Okay, thumbs up. Correct answer, income. And then 9, utilities expense. 5 seconds. Okay, thumbs up. Correct answer for that is expense. And then last, building. 5 seconds. Time's up. Correct answer for that, non-current assets. Okay? So, and we're done for today. I hope you understand our lesson for today. Keep safe and God bless.